That's why many people feel powerless. That's why many people feel that their vote doesn't matter, because with the creation of this map, it is engineered, racially engineered, to make your vote count less.
A dramatic standoff has been taking place the last 2 weeks. Texas state Democratic lawmakers have left the state in a last-ditch effort to stop Republicans from gerrymandering a new congressional district map. Currently, Republicans hold 25 out of the state's 38 congressional districts, but under these new maps, Republicans could pick it up to 30.
This all started at the behest of Donald Trump, right? I think he's very concerned about losing the majority in the House of Representatives next election. And so he instructed Governor Abbott to find him 5 additional votes.
More than 50 Democratic House representatives in Texas have left the state and are currently in states including California and Illinois. That's because Texas state legislators require 2/3 of its members to be present for a vote. So if the Democratic lawmakers aren't there, then there can't be a quorum to vote on the new map.
There's nothing to justify this, aside from the fact that Donald Trump wants 5 additional seats. And that's why we're here, is that the only way to achieve this in Texas is by taking away and disenfranchising millions of Texas Hispanics and Texas Black residents in the state.
State Rep. Vince Perez said that the new map would dramatically take voting power away from Latinos in the state. Now, there are more than 11 million white residents in Texas, but the Latino population is roughly the same.
What the Republicans are proposing to do is that 26 out of the 38 would be determined by white voters. And meanwhile, for Latino voters, there will be 8. That means that white voters have 3 times the voting power of Latino voters. What else does that mean? Well, Latino residents, Latino Texans, have 1/3 the value of a white resident when it comes to political representation. When it comes to Black residents, they get 1 congressional representative for every 2 million. That means that their voting representation is 5 times less. It takes 5 Black Texans to equal the voting power of 1 white resident. That's very disturbing. And that is why this map is the worst map that Texas has seen since before the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1965. Over 90% of all white residents in Texas are drawn into these Republican-created districts. So out of the 11 million white residents in Texas, Republicans are proposing to represent over 10 million of them, 90%. Why don't they want to represent 90% of the Hispanic population or 90% of the Black population? And Republicans have the audacity to say this isn't a racially engineered map. What's going to happen is what happened before the passage of the Civil Rights, before the Voting Rights Bill. You're going to have a government that doesn't feel accountable to all of its residents. You're going to have a government that is going to cater to one particular group. And that means that future generations of kids in my community, in my district, and millions of other kids who look just like them are going to grow up in a society where the government is going to feel like they're not accountable to them. They're accountable to somebody else merely because of the color of their skin.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has actually called for these lawmakers to be arrested and even to be fined $500 a day for every day that they miss. And Senator John Cornyn of Texas has actually asked the FBI to track down and arrest Democratic lawmakers who have left the state. A group of House Dems who were staying in Chicago had to actually evacuate their hotel after a bomb threat was called in.
I'm prepared to do what I can as one person to stand up and take a stand against this, and I'm going to do my part to educate the public about the details of this map. But again, there is going to be irreparable harm for many decades to come if this map is allowed to proceed. And it's taking America to a place that we should never go back to. In order for democracy to work, the government needs to be held accountable to all people, regardless of color.
Despite the threats of arrest and violence, the Democratic lawmakers who left Texas have not yet returned home. Now, we don't know how this redistricting battle is going to end. It's still currently a standoff, but it could affect redistricting in other states. California Governor Gavin Newsom, for instance, has actually vowed to redraw California's congressional districts in favor of Democrats should Texas go through with this new map.